This is just an out-the-door prequel to see what the crows are up to on this beautiful... They stopped. Frosty, December 22nd. Still studying the weather. And of course, what is it? Oh, there's a hawk right in that tree. I see it. I see it. See the hawk? He doesn't care. It's actually sunny up there. That was 7:15. Now it's closer to 8:15. How's your garden doing? Did you bring it indoors? Do you have a barometer in your garden? Mine's at 30.3. That's a high barometer. Chill. Yet, vegetables from the garden. All right, let's go out the door. For real with the weather this time. That hawk was right up there. I don't know where he is. Probably not far. Winter mornings do not get much more pretty than this. Everyone's sharing their sunrise, red sky and morning. Sailor take warning indeed. It is tricky underfoot, I can tell you that. It is really slippery. And apparently there are multiple vehicles off the road around Route 6 this morning. Route 6 is right over there. How can that be? Such a pretty morning. Well, around midnight or so, the temperature was 21 degrees and the dew point was 20. Since then, the temperature's up to the mid-20s and the dew point is up to the mid-20s. So that's condensation. And when it's that cold, the condensation is ice. So we have ice on the roads here in New England, even though the storm is still hundreds of miles away. There's Fallon's Pond and Bass River. We have ice this morning. I could probably slide down this if I had a sled. Instead, I'm gonna try and go down it without falling. Nice job, Tim. So this is pretty much the same thing I would have been doing when I was a little kid in the same area, except for those were all trees there. Fortunately, we're good friends with our neighbors. And I just wanted to show you how heavy the frost is. Anyhow, it's much colder this morning ahead of this system than it was last week when we got that snow. But even though there's a weak cold front trying to come south in Maine, there are 4 warm fronts from Lake Superior down to a wave of energy on the coast in South Carolina. That wave will try and hold the cold in here because that circulation would be counterclockwise, but eventually the warm is going to win. We still have a few hours before the snow gets into the higher elevations of western New England this evening, but it's going to change quickly to rain. Look at the sky, just full of ice crystals. You'll all see a halo in the sky today. Ring around the sun or moon, snow or rain soon. And there's not much change to the forecast. Ouch. It's a major storm incoming. Shared something on Twitter yesterday. I kind of retweeted something and said I fold in response to Francis talking about the potential for the tropopause. That's where the strongest winds are in the atmosphere, the lower atmosphere anywhere, up in the top of the troposphere on the boundary with the stratosphere. Anyhow, he said that could come down to a level very close to the surface of the Earth. So wind that's often up around maybe 30,000 feet potentially could mix down to close to the top of Mount Washington. And that wind up around 30,000 feet, I just tell you that yellow is over 150. So there's potential for winds gusting to 150 on Mount Washington for a short time tomorrow. As for lower elevations, let's go with the NAM, 6 a.m. You get the red in there. There's some gusts past 70 knots. 9 a.m., Green Mountains are involved. 2 p.m., worst of the wind has moved out of southeastern New England and into the coast of Maine. Gusts again past 70 knots. This possible right down to the surface. So high tide midday tomorrow morning, coastal flooding. It's going to feel and look like a tropical storm for a short time. Warm air is only going to be here about 12 hours with the snow changing to rain in our mountains. The rainfall amounts over the presidentials look the strongest with potential 2 to 4. Otherwise, rainfall amounts I think are going to be 1 to 3, and there is going to be a rapid snowmelt, but there's a rapid refreeze, so I'm not sure. Look at all the warnings that are in effect across the nation. Wind, chill warnings all the way down from the border with Canada to the border with Mexico. Wind chill advisories all the way into Florida. Arizona alone without any watches and warnings. As for the Boston National Weather Service, plenty busy. What is it? Wind, storm, gale, flood, coastal flood. The worst of the weather is for tomorrow as far as the wind and the rain goes, but then the refreeze tomorrow night. You probably heard what happened out west with yesterday. Denver was 50 at lunchtime and 0 at dinner time. We're not going to be that dramatic, but it is going to be dramatic. On Saturday morning, there's going to be ice all over the place. So I don't know what's going on with the airports right now, but I'm sure it's disruptive from coast to coast. This is an historic event. It really is. Some of the earliest memories I have from Christmas right here at this very exact spot. Well, actually, I was in the back of the house. It was snowing in the backyard here, which is off to the northeast, and it was sunny in the front yard, and it was 6 degrees on the thermometer, same thermometer that I use now. That was 1968. I was 5. My earliest Christmas memory. And it's not going to be that cold, but that day the wind was from the northeast. This weekend, on Saturday, the wind is going to be from the southwest as that cold air comes in. So we're going to have ocean effect snow coming from Block Island to Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, and we'll have some bands of snow around here. So there may be a white Christmas in southeastern most New England. That would be Cape Cod and the islands, maybe the coast of Rhode Island. It's an extreme event, and when it lifts out, there's going to be one last wave going by Tuesday, Wednesday that probably could miss to the south. If it comes north, it may actually be warm enough for rain, and it is going to warm up the end of next week. The weather works like a pendulum, right? So if you're this extreme cold across the entire nation, you have to have a warm-up, and then it's going to reload because there's a major jet stream busting in off the Pacific Ocean next week in California. That'll probably be warm for us for the end of the year, and then cooling off again the second week of January. That's just a rough estimate. Grateful for all we have. Images yesterday from the winter solstice. What a beautiful day yesterday on the Fore River. Grateful to friends and family, sharing some fresh harvested Cape Cod bounty last evening. Made some stuffed quahogs. I was going to leave you with stuff from yesterday, but instead I think I'd do what I did when I was a little kid. Dad would have been going out scalloping this morning. I would have been too young at 4 or 5 years old, but he would have been breaking through that ice on Fallon's Pond. I'm going to go down and get you some nice, quiet images of the ice here on Bass River. So quiet this morning, so different tomorrow. That's the traffic on Route 6. That we can hear. That was a Carolina wren. I think. Where are you going? Guess where the hawk is now. Duck's right there. Hawk's up in that tree over there. Let's go find him. Weymouth, I've been waking up to the sounds of shotguns every morning lately. And planes and trains and loud boats. Here it's birds and the low hum of Route 6 for the most part, although I did hear those fire engines earlier. And nobody's shooting the ducks here. Oh well. You don't see that hawk? Gotta be right up there. There's like 10 crows just sitting around the hawk, keeping an eye on him. Actually, I don't even see the hawk. Where is he? Where's the hawk? It's got to be around here. Oh well. I could follow the birds around all day. Pretty blessed to have grown up here. Never forget going out through the channel with Dad, through the ice. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for choosing this location to raise a weatherman. And great brothers and sisters.